Okay, now we're going to talk about something a little different. So we're going to compose functions, or take the composition of functions. Now, I wanted to show you the two different setups that you're going to see. And so this format, they are read the same, starting from left to right. We're saying g of f of 2. And so you're going to look for your innermost function. So your innermost function here of the 3 is going to be this 2. This is your input. Now, I'm inputting or substituting or replacing everywhere I have an x in f of x, in my innermost function, the f of 2. So inner function is f of 2, outer function is g of 2, or g of x, sorry. F of 2, I'm going to replace everywhere I have an x in f of x with 2. So I'm not going to even worry about the g yet. I'm just going to figure out what is f of 2 equal to. So instead of x squared, I'm going to replace 2 with x, and I'm going to say 2 squared. So right now, this is just f of 2. I want to know, what does that equal? So when I replace x with a 2, I get 2 squared, meaning that f of 2 is equal to 4. 2 squared is 4. Now, if I know that f of 2 equals 4, I can replace this entire inner function with 4 because they are the same. They equal each other. So f of 2 is 4. So now what I'm going to say is that we have g of 4. Right? So my outer function, g of x, is going to be more easily found because we know that the inner function is equal to 4. So rather than trying to think, oh, what is g of f of 2, now I can think all I have to find is g of 4, and I'm done. So really, you're kind of double substituting here. So I'm going to replace everywhere I have an x in g of x with a 4. So I have to pay attention, not this function, because this is f of x. I need to go to this function, g of x. So my g of 4 is going to be 2, instead of times x, it's going to be 2 times 4 minus 1. So g of 4 is going to be 2x, but replacing x with 4, minus 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So what we're finally saying is that g of f of 2 is equal to 7. So what I did was found my innermost function is f of x, in this case f of 2. So in the function f of x, I'm going to replace x with 2, and we got 2 squared is 4. So we found that that innermost function, the f of 2, is equal to 4. From there, then, we find now the outermost function, the g of x. So in g of x, being careful that I'm going to the correct function, I'm going to replace everywhere I have an x with a 4. So instead of 2x minus 1, it's 2 times 4 minus 1. And after I take 8 minus 1, I got 7. So your whole function, g of f of 2, is equal to 7. Let's do one more. It's going to be the exact same format, or exact same way of solving the method, but the format is a little different. This is red, this little open circle, that's not a 0. That's just used, and it's not multiplication. If it were a small dot representing multiplication, that's how you know the difference. Because it's an open circle, this is red, h of g of 3. So same thing, my innermost function is really right here. G of 3, or g of x. That's my innermost function. That's my input. And then whatever I get, I'm going to substitute that into my outermost function, which is going to be this bigger one here, and that is going to be h of x. So let's find our innermost part first, ignoring the h. So g of 3, that's what I need to find first. So g of 3, meaning in g of x, I'm going to replace everywhere I have an x with a 3. So instead of 2x minus 1, it's 2 times 3 minus 1. Oops. So 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 is going to be 5. So therefore, we found that g of 3 is equal to 5. Now, that is our inner function. Now we need our outer function. We need the h of x. So what I'm going to do is, instead of h of g of 3, I'm going to say h of x, or h of 5. So I'm replacing this g of 3 in this function with a 5. So instead of h of g of 3, I'm going to say h of 5 because g of 3 is equal to 5. So now in h of x, being careful of the fact that I'm looking at the right problem, everywhere I have an x in h of x, I'm going to replace that with a 5. So instead of 4x minus 3, this is going to be 4 times 5 minus 3. 4 times 5 is 20, so 20 minus 3 is going to be 17. Now, even though that's true, that is h of 5, this is our final answer for our entire composition of functions. So really what we can say is hog, or h of g of 3, is equal to 17.